Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Today we're going to talk We're going to talk a little bit about aesthetics and our appearance. Question of the day is: Do West Africans? Why do West Africans think they look like FBAs? You know, uh, do they think that some Air Force Ones and a Bape hoodie is going to make them us? And lastly, do Nigerians look like FBAs? This was inspired by a story Wani had. Wani, could you tell us a story?
There was a Nigerian woman speaking, and she felt that she felt that it was kind of rude to identify her and to say that she didn't look like us and to ask her if she was Nigerian. And it's just odd that she feels that being outed as a Nigerian is an insult and that she would want to look like us. What is that saying to the way that she looks? If we can see that they're trying to look like us and they're trying to hide it behind, oh no, we're trying to look American. No, 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 no. You're trying to look like us. And then when you're outed and we say, we can tell you're African, they get angry and then they point out somebody that they think looks like them in order to win. No one can look like us because we all look different. We don't look like a uniform group of people like you see in other groups. They have a look. They have a uniform look. You only need to watch one basketball game to see that Michael Jordan doesn't look like Scottie Pippen, and there's a whole bunch of range. And this is what people want to latch on to. They want to latch on to the parts they like and say, oh, I look like this. Well, that could be true for anybody. We have Rachel Dolezal's, white women could reach out and say, we look like black women. So anybody can do anything with us. And that's why we're getting all of these attacks, because we look like everyone, and therefore anyone that wants to look like us can say that we look like them.
It's very dangerous to for people to want to be us. My question, my motivate, my I would want to know what your motivation is. Why would you want to be something you're not? Um, if you look back at Dr. Claude Anderson in Black Labor, White Wealth, he says basically, I'm paraphrasing until I find the book. Well, I found it actually. Let me give exactly out the horse's mouth, but he talks about how they cosplay us to get our resources. Is that what it is? I mean, I'm just my life is all about understanding.
Social clout. They get social clout. There's no clout in being an immigrant. There's no clout in being an African. There's just no clout in it. And you even have, like, for an example, you'll have Mexicans saying that they're other Hispanic backgrounds. So there's just no clout in some of these groups.
So they want to piggyback off our clout, but when the shit hits the fan, they don't want to be us. They really want to make it make sense, Wani. Do they want to be us, or do they want to amalgamate into whiteness?
Well, see, that was addressed before. They said everybody wants to be a nigger until it's time to be a nigger. So it's one of those situations. They want to be us. We're uber cool, and they want to be cool. They want to be thought to be us. They are going to fight us on our identity. They want to pretend like there's some new part of the ethnogenesis coming over here, and they're just going to blend themselves in. They don't want us to have an identity. They want to strip us of our identity and then still flex their corny identities whenever anyone does anything correct in Africa. So you'll have somebody from Africa doing these things, but the moment that they have a win, the moment that they say something and, oh, we have a new leader and he's kicked out the French, they'll just revert back to flexing their identities again. So no, they can never be allowed to be in our identity because they're not us, and they're not our identity.
Right. Dr. Claude Anderson says today there is little cooperation, political or otherwise, between blacks and minority groups. For the most part, ethnic minorities do not support black causes. They have been getting a free ride at black people's expense on civil rights and minority programs. As members of loosely formed political coalitions, they are most quiet while blacks agitate. but they are quick to stake their claim on affirmative action benefits won by blacks. So, Juan, am I hearing you? If I'm hearing you correctly, are you stating that basically they're trying to get benefits off of us, but they don't want to go through the pain?
And this is the same thing. I'll play an audio from a Chinese man. He was sitting there benefiting from everything we did during civil rights. And he was just sitting there smirking and laughing and talking about how his people wouldn't get involved and he wouldn't get involved. But he sure was happy that we were fighting for those benefits. And he had a very irritating smirk on his face while he was saying all this. Sorry. While he was saying all those things, he had a very irritating smirk, like, he, we just sit here and let you agitate, let you get the bad reputation while we maintain our innocent model minority status and run around with the same gangs with massive prostitution in the streets of Flushing, New York, doing everything under the sun in our home countries and in yours, and you're the one that bears the brunt of it. That's why I'm not doing, that's why I refuse to include these people in any fight. They're going to come out from the shadows, come out from our skirt tails. And if you have a problem in this country, you better form a group of South American leaders. Have you ever heard of that here in America? South Americans coming out to talk about, no, they just hide behind us. Oh, we're Afro Latino. The police did that to us too. You do it. No, I'm not doing it anymore. You're going to do it.
Right, right. Um, it's it's a cosplaying, and it's very dangerous because, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the point now, the millennials, where we're and Gen Xers, where we're going to have to start looking out for the next generation. And what I've seen with my own eyes is opportunity being snatched off the table by West Africans, particularly Nigerians, but the whole across the board diasporic melanated people coming in, being staying close to us to get what they can get off the table that was intended for our children. You know what I'm saying? I've had it. I'm in Atlanta right now, and Atlanta has outright motivated me to fight for FBAs. I'm just like, I'm a fire has been burned inside of me to like say no, 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 enough is enough. I'm afraid that Atlanta is following the model of what I've read and heard about Los Angeles, with respect to us losing our neighborhoods. And if Atlanta is the prototype, um, it could easily spill over to other jurisdictions. So, with that being said, um, something needs to be done here about it. We need to spread the word that these people are not us, and they do not get to work. They do not get to reap the benefits off the tangibles that my grandfather, our grandparents got killed over. You know, Starry, Starry Branch. What's on your mind?
Hello, hi. I'll be quick. Thank you, host, co-hosting to the room. Um, we already know what the deal is. Um, and the demon crafts was gonna be behind helping them take our
Yep.
identity. That's the. Can I cuss?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Perfect. That's the fucked up part about it. And I won't cuss anymore. But they were helping these people take our identity, putting them in positions, knowing what was going on. That's why I said I get sick to my stomach. Last thing is when we talk about our image. That's why I side eye Jasmine Crockett, because we know she came out of nowhere. But if I'm not mistaken, she came around the time. Um, what is the lady from Houston that died? The Jamaican lady. Oh, on the tip of my tongue, Lee, Sheila Lee.
Yeah, Sheila
Jackson Lee.
Jackson Lee.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, she kind of came up right behind her, but they already knew that they was gonna plant her as well. I'm just so super
Right.
proud of Black Americans, y'all. I'm so proud of us. This was unexpected because when you got a food, this food gonna be there when you get home. And it seemed like we have packed up our bags, and that burning house that we was talking about, or Morton was talking about, is finally falling, and we're not in it. Well, majority of us are not in it. So with that being said, thank you guys. I just had to put that out there. I'm proud of you, Black Americans, for standing on your square and waking the hell up, because they was gonna get you. And they still planning on getting you if you go back to sleep. But I don't think we sleepy like that. Thank
No, no,
you.
no. We wide awake. We don't. Me and Wani out in the street serving coffee, and Nikki, we out here serving fucking espresso. Goddamn it. Because it's time to wake up. And it's very fascinating because they almost got away with it. Imagine what would have happened if Kamala Harris had won that election, man. Or you know what? Matter of fact, don't imagine it.
They
Lifestyle. What's on?
almost they almost got away with it if it wasn't for those pesky kids.
Right.
We're the pesky kids.
Yep. We got a motherfucking lemonade stand selling the truth.
You know, they've been trying to shame people saying, hey,
I
well, you
can't hear
guys got
you.
what you voted for. And like, well, what did we get that's so bad?
Nikki,
I
Nikki,
don't see
Nikki,
it.
we can barely hear you, baby.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear
Yeah,
me
I hear
now?
you. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been trying to shame black people. They say,
No, you went back to being muffled again.
oh my God. You
What's
can take
happening?
out, just go ahead
Is
and
it a
take out.
headset?
Can y'all hear me now?
I hear you now
Yes.
perfectly.
All right, I switched ears. Yeah, I've had people say, "Hey, well, that's what those guys get for not voting for Kamala." I've been hearing a lot of people trying to shame black people for not voting for her, as if we had some, like, as if Trump put in some type of a law that was just straight up to disenfranchise black people when Democrats were doing that. But I know we're not talking about politics right now, but I just thought I'd throw it in there. It's just been so many things that the Democrats have been trying to throw at us, and they still won't stop.
Right, right. Before we go to lifestyle, I want to tell y'all the history will erase the mystery. The Democratic Party, under the leadership of Woodrow Wilson, um, used immigrants to attack foundational Black Americans, which really, if you look back at it, was done before this was even a country at the request of Benjamin Franklin during the Georgia Corporation. So it's nothing new. Um, it's nothing new, but yeah, Woodrow Wilson let immigrants, the Irish, come over here and cosplay as police, not cosplay, but become police officers to kind of keep us in check, and also a lot of them joined the Klan to run us up out of our enclaves in Alabama and Tennessee and the South and Mississippi. That's what the Great Migration was triggered behind what you're talking about. So it's a lot of history behind that. Lifestyle, what's on your mind?
Hey everybody, shout out to the fam. Shout out to Nikki, shout out to Wani, and shout out to Professor and the rest of the FBA family. We're very grateful for you guys serving up espresso and cappuccinos and all that good stuff when it comes to the truth. First thing I wanted to tell Professor, congratulations on your HC6 debut. You know what I mean? Tariq was talking about that earlier, so I just wanted to say congratulations to you. I look forward to seeing what you had to say. And Wani, I can't wait to see your debut as well on HC6. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that the family is a part of the not only the documentary movie making process, but just Tariq is a real guy. You know what I mean? And he pulls us up. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say shout out to y'all for getting y'all debut. And as far as the topic, um, FBA women always look better than any other woman in the world.
Facts.
The way they walk, the way they look, the way they do everything, you know what I mean? Women across the world are trying to emulate you. Period, point blank. You know what I mean? And they trying to get your brothers. You know what I mean? You know that. So they trying to emulate you to get the brothers. You feel what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing greater than a FBA woman. It don't nothing smell like a FBA woman. You know what I
Facts.
mean? And her walk. You know what I mean? And we got to work on our relationship. The sisters and the brothers got to work on our relationship. But yeah, ain't nobody looking better than the FBA sister, and that's bottom. That's hands down. So thank you for letting me up, family. And like I said, I look forward to seeing Professor and Wani, and hopefully Nikki too. I think he might even say he's coming for you too, Nikki, to get on HC6. So I'm looking forward to seeing y'all up there. Thanks, family, for letting me up.
A quick question. I changed my background photo to the little film excerpt. Do y'all see that? Did it change did it or is it still the same?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure it worked. Last time I tried to change my picture, it wouldn't work. But yeah, I had a blast. I learned a lot, and man, it just yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Love it. Um.
The one that you sent, the one that you sent earlier was moving too. So I could see y'all kind of like laughing a little bit. I wish you would have posted it, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, you can post it, Nick, if you want. I just wanted to ask. I had to ask Tariq for permission before I didn't know if I could or not. Uh,
I'll post it tomorrow
Okay,
so that it'll get seen by more people.
love
Or
it.
you
Hey,
can.
do y'all have a date like when it's expected to come out so we could be prepared?
I don't. Nah.
They mentioned the
The
fall.
editing takes the editing takes a long time. Most of the time when he's doing these movies, he's spending a bulk of time on just editing. The the least part is him filming. The most part is him editing. So didn't he say? What did he say? The fall? You said he
He
said the
said the
fall.
fall, yes.
Well, family, the last thing I'll say is that, microphone check did really, really well, and we had a lot of haters, and people trying to, get that taken down. So when this HC6 comes out, everybody go support it and, you know what I mean, and push that thing up so that we can get some world renowned reviews and hopefully the family will win some awards, you know what I mean? And that'll really take it to the next level. So, again, shout out to the family.
Yeah, love it, bro. Appreciate you. Rob the Whip
What's the name of the person who was just talking though?
lifestyle,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
like lifestyle child of God.
I can't see that person for some reason. All right. I'll find them. Okay. Thank you,
Yes,
Professor.
Nikki, I follow you and I respect you. I defended you against that tether that was talking about you. I forgot his name, but
Oh, thank you. I'm not African. I'm 100% FBA too.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Shout out to Professor Nikki, the guy, and Wani, Sister Wani, and everybody in the room.
Hey, what's up, Black? I think brother, we coming to you, but Rob the Whip was before you. We're gonna go with Rob the Whip, and then we coming straight to you, Black. Go ahead, Rob.
What's up with it, everybody, man? I'm gonna be quick. I just got home from work. Uh, man, first I like to say, man, rest in peace to George
Oh man,
Foreman
he died.
and me as a
He
fighter, man.
Yeah, he
died?
died.
Yeah,
He
he
died
died.
today. Yeah, he
Oh,
No.
died today.
He
what?
passed
Oh
away,
my
man.
God, I gotta make a call.
Yeah, 76 years old, man.
Why?
So that kind of hurt the boxing community, as I had pro fighters, and me myself as a fighter. So that's crazy, man. But anyway, to answer the question and address the room, uh, why do Africans think they look like FBAs? It took me back to when I first came to Navy, man. My first trip overseas. We pulled into my first port overseas over the Mediterranean was Naples, Italy, and I never forget this African dude walked up. My man was like, "Hey, stay away from the Africans, man, because you won't get no women when you over here." I'm like, "What you mean?" Like, man, they try to act like we do and be buddies with us so they can get up with the women over here. I was like, "For real?" Bro, we step off the ship. I was on the USS Thorn. Man, this dude walked up to me, brother, how you do, brother? This man had on uh uh, uh Chicago Bulls sweatpants with patches from the Boston Celtics on it. he had he had the New York Nets. He had the Eagles jacket on, Philadelphia Eagles jacket on with the what you call the team, the Orlando Magic. I was like, man, he was just all wrong. He had every patch from every sports,
What was
every
he rooting for? Damn.
bruh, my man was just
Show some
wrong.
loyalty.
If you
I'm
name this
dead. That shit is hilarious.
bruh, yeah, every patch from every sport, man, that was on there, man, trying to act and hang with us, man. He was like, man, you gotta go, bro. Him and his homie was following us around, like, man, we ain't with them. We Americans, man.
You should
So
get on Tariq's
that's what it
stage and
reminded
try
me
to.
of.
You should get on Tariq's stage one day and tell him that story. That is hilarious.
Bruh, this shit was so fun. We was cracking up, man. But my thing is, man, when we you have as much influence that we have across the world, they hate to love us and love it to hate us. So I'm gonna just say this: like, now you can tell us apart a mile away, for the most part, man. So, and two, I want to close with this. I was in the room. I'm not going in there because I did what I had to do. I was in the room the other day with your boy what's his name Tariq called him crispy and he said he was gonna kill Tariq.
Tommy
What was his
Sotomayor,
name?
Sotomayor.
Yeah.
Thomas Thomas Sotomayor, man. And I held it down for us in there. It got to the point where one he kicked me out one time. And I went back about a week later and I said what I had to say, and he kind of played himself in there. But I land with this. We really upset a lot of people because of who we are, and with that, that shows the kind of power that we have. So just keep doing what we're doing, man. Just keep pushing and just keep showing them how it's done, man. Because the whole world is watching.
Why is Tommy,
Y'all have a good night.
Rob, why is he so angry? Tommy is so
Yeah,
mad. It's like, just
but
go somewhere else. Why do you need to scream
he
about black women all day?
well he lost his monetization because it was some stuff he said about the Jewish folks, saying he didn't believe the Holocaust was real. So he shot himself in the foot. So he's trying to get his monetization back. And at the same time, I think a black woman probably hurt his feelings. Sister probably hurt his feelings back in the day. And I know Tariq hurt his feelings because he he said Tariq said something about him, and I bust out laughing on the mic. He kicked me out the room. I like, yo, that shit was funny, Tommy. I'm just
Yeah, I
saying.
remember that
He
though.
said that
I remember he
shit.
went on there. I think he slapped him though too. He had like a championship belt on, and he slapped.
Well,
He
he
slapped.
got in his face. Yep. He was like,
Yeah,
say that shit in my
that shit
face.
was funny though.
Yep.
Yo, so whatever it was, I wasn't there. I don't know, but I laughed at Tommy, man, about the shit. And him over and kicked me out the room. But uh, he's just the thing is, and I tell everybody, you got a lot of these coaches that are mad at us because we made something out of nothing, and it turned out to be one of the greatest things in the world, which is this country. So, and everybody's coming here to try to reap the benefits of the hard work our
Facts.
ancestors did, and it's hurtful to them because no matter how much they talk about us, try to act like us, and either that, some of them love us, they genuinely love us. Man, we are who we are. So like I said, man, just keep showing, man, showing how great we are, and keep striving to be better than what we are because we still got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do, but we just getting started. Y'all have a good night. I'm taking my black ass to
Appreciate you,
bed. I'm
Rob.
tired.
Um,
Hey, real quick, Professor. Tariq is in Atlanta. Y'all hooking up while you down there?
well, we've already I've already, filmed my portion. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's what it is, man. Y'all have a good night. Wani and she left. Nikki,
Her
she
she's
left
coming
too.
back. Her sometimes her thing a desync.
Okay. So everybody in here, man. Y'all have a good night, man.
Yes,
Peace, one
sir.
love, and I'm out.
Appreciate you. Go ahead, the Black. What's on your mind, man?
Uh, yeah, so that's hilarious. That Africans look like us. See, when I went to overseas, I just came back from Japan because I was in the military too. Like brother said, I was stationed in Qatar. See, a lot of the Arab Qatar women, though, Qatarian women, they wondered why there was a whole bunch of Africans over. You go to a place like the UAE, Qatar, you got a whole bunch of Africans, especially West Africans and Eastern Africans over the Somalians and Nigerians over there in Qatar, UAE. So the women over there trying to ask me how I was out there in America, though, then they do a lot of cosplaying like a motherfucker out there too, especially the country I traveled to while I was in the military though too. Man, they try to ask me. I say, this ain't no black American. I say, this is the African though that's cosplaying. One of us, he was trying to have chains on and everybody know that's fake though. He had like basically trying to dress like a cosplay as a black American though. So they already could tell that they not one of us though. Because the female types is different from African and Caribbean. We different. So yeah, I could tell. So this person ain't from us though. Like these tattoos trying to cosplay us though in our community though. We could tell somebody's not one of us though. We can tell by their swag, how they talk, their facial features, and their genotypes though. We could tell that they ain't one of us though. So out there in Japan, where I did an interview with this brother from the soul food restaurant out there, it was some Africans over there basically trying to cosplay Black Americans though too, but everybody could tell that they wasn't that they was Africans though. Man, they be cosplaying, they be trying to emulate us though because they know our culture is basically respected and known worldwide though. That's why though, but we definitely don't look like no damn Africans though. Hell no, we don't. I went over to Nigeria though. I spent 3 months in Nigeria in Abuja and Lagos though. Man, them Africans don't look nothing like that. Even their tribes over there is different over there in their country though. The Igbos look different from the Yorubas. The northern Nigerian tribes, the Fulani and the Hausa tribe look different from the southern Nigerian tribes, which is the Igbos, the Yorubas. You go over there to Eastern Africa, right over there. Ethiopians look completely different from the Somalis though, because Somalis got big ass heads though. You can tell they Somalis though because they big ass foreheads though. That's actually a giveaway though too. But every country I travel to though, you could tell from the East African and the West African. I could tell though because I was spending a amount of time in Africa though while I was over there though. So no hell
Some of
no,
the
we don't look
big
nothing like.
foreheads rubbed off on some of the Ethiopians, but not all of them, because they maintain their tribes, like the Afar people. They don't have that big forehead, but some of the Ethiopians do have it.
Yeah, some of them do. That's the
Your
Ethiopian tribes
thoughts?
that.
They mixed in, didn't they?
Yeah, they are. Like you go over there. When I went to Ethiopia, I was in Shashamani in Addis Ababa. You go right near the border between Ethiopia and Somalia. A lot of the tribes over here mix with each other though over there with the border towns between Somalia and Ethiopia though. But you're right about that one. Some of the tribes over there do exist though, like the Hibishas and some of the other tribes, the Romo tribe though. Some of them, not the Romo tribe, but the Hibisha tribe, they actually mix with the Somalis over there too because they've been trading back and forth with that region for centuries though. But like the Oromo, like the Himar tribe over there, they're completely different though from the Oromo tribe and the Somalis though. They actually have a whole conflict going on right now in Somalia between the Ethiopian Somalis though. The Oromo tribe actually at war with the Somalians over there in Ethiopia though. So yeah, while I went over there, I didn't went to Somalia though, but I went to Ethiopia. You got a whole bunch of Somali refugees that's from Somalia that went over to Ethiopia though. And it's so bad over there in Somalia though, is that because the privacy attacks though, while I was in the military and stuff like that, what they do is that the cargo ships that go off the coast of Somalia, they have to have or they have to have like the military tanks ready for to shoot the Somalian pirates over there though, because that's how bad. A lot of trading shipping routes don't even go to the coast of Somalia because that's how bad it is over there. They avoid going off the coast of Somalia, and also you got pirates privacy over there in Nigeria as well. You got a lot of them Fulani Herdsmen
Oh,
pirates over there.
they have pirates? I mean,
But yeah, they
are
do.
they in
Nigeria, they got
boats?
pirates too. They got the Fulani Herdsmen pirates though. They
They're
got
in
pirates over there.
boats?
Yeah, they in boats though. Yeah, I'm dead
Oh,
serious though.
oh,
No,
oh
yeah,
my
no
God.
joke. Yeah, no joke though. Yeah, the Somalian pirates though. That's actually like Captain Phillips though. That's actually some true shit though. But they actually do got boats and shit. Be trying to steal people's cargo ships though. They do that same thing over here in Nigeria. The Fulani Herdsmen in the northern part of Nigeria, they be having piracy too over there, real bad over in Nigeria, especially the northern part of Nigeria. And also is that what the Nigerian government do is that the Igbos and Yoruba tribe, they have to go through other countries though to get their cargo stuff go to other countries because it's so bad over here because they don't want to push it through the northern part of Nigeria though because they know the Fulani herdsmen and the privacy over there. They know the pirates will get their cargo ships before they even touch the other country, like Niger, Burkina Faso, some other countries though. So they pass on other country going around though because the Somali, because of not the Somali, because of the Fulani herdsmen over there in northern Nigeria.
Awesome. Well,
Mm.
let's talk about a hard truth that I'm sure our sister Wani can back me up on with her knowledge of genealogy. Um, if you look at our DNA profile, our being foundational Black Americans, on average, our DNA profile is so diverse it doesn't even match West African DNA profiles. We're not the same thing. I'm doing research on that right now on a very special project I'm working on that I'll announce shortly. I have a book coming out, a scholarly book coming out that talks about that, but that's besides the point. And I've been blowing my own mind looking at our DNA profile. We are totally different than West Africans. Wani, what is the DNA profile? What percentage on average of Caucasian are foundational Black Americans?
About 24%, and
That's high,
about,
y'all.
yeah, 30 to 40% of black males have a European haplogroup. So when you compare it to like a typical Nigerian, it'll say, for a Nigerian, it'll say 98% Nigerian, 2% Ghanaian, or 99%. So they have a completely different profile. In fact, a lot of people around the world, it'll show like nearly 100% of something. 90% German, and maybe, you know, 90% German, 10% English. But the way that people have mixed, you get uh, results that are expected. You'll get expected results. So if a Portuguese person ran around the coast of Africa and humped on a few people, you may see an African here or there with 1% or 2% Portuguese DNA, but you just rarely see that. That's why that guy Dan Quay comes in, and he always talks about having, 3% or 1% European. Whatever happened over there is definitely not the same thing that happened with us.
And that's very important, ladies and gentlemen. I know we've said this ad nauseum, but the foundational Black American is an amalgamation. We're an amalgamation of so many different things. First and foremost, you had an Aboriginal, Austronesian, Melanesian, um, Aboriginal, quote unquote. I hate the word term, but I'm gonna use it just to entertain academic canon, Western academic canon. The Indian. Um, what we have to realize is that there were black Aboriginals here before the damn red native got over here. The red native basically, and I can back this up with hardcore research from Harvard University, from Swiss scientists, that this red Indian, this native that we seen in the movies, is a visitor as well. He comes from Siberian. I think Wani said the Siberian steppe. They are Asians.
No, the Bering Strait from Siberia.
Right, and when I worked at Smithsonian, I worked at Smithsonian for in 2007, which was a wonderful experience. One of these days, I'm gonna have a space on that experience alone. But what I learned is that Siberian Asian, the scholars call them Anzic one lineage. That Anzic one came over here chasing food because they were nomadic. What I learned at Smithsonian is the buffalo was everything to them. Um, very deep. The buffalo was their food, of course, but did y'all know the buffalo was their shelter? They used the bones to do foundations of teepees, and the thick hide to wrap around the teepees. They used it's so deep, ladies and gentlemen, that they would even take the bladder out of the buffalo and dry it out over a course of days, and then that would become a water pouch. It's just like a plastic bag. But my point to bring that up is they would chase buffalo migrating um east for tens of thousands of fucking years until they chased them right across that Bering Strait into North America, where the red Anzic one lineage Indian, Native American, start slaughtering our natives. So shit, you want to talk about reparations? The red native needs to pay reparations to us because we're a mix with the melanated aboriginal. How about that for reparations? You know what I'm saying? But
And they're very mean to the freedmen on those reservations as well,
oh
and
yeah.
have been called out by Congress about it.
Right, right. They're visitors. This is our land. Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is Africans, West Africans don't look like us because we've been amalgamated so many different ways with so many different things that we are a different group. I tend to be able I can tend to see similarities in foundational Black Americans. It's uncanny. I can't really put my finger on it. It's not a skin color. It's not necessarily I don't know. It's some je ne sais quoi. I like saying that. How do you say it? One is je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. We don't have uniformed features. We don't look like a tribe of people. Even in my family, it's like, are you people related? Nobody looks like another person. We just have my grandmother's eyes are still popping out in new children, but that's the only thing that's similar. among people in my family. They just don't look alike.
Well, that je ne sais quoi is real because I can tell when you Black American. I don't know how, but I know.
I think they all screwing a lot. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I think they have some interfamily relations. That's why a lot of them these tribes look alike. You know, they're all within this one space, and that's why some of their eyes are so far apart and some of their heads are so protruded because of the genes. Brothers are having babies with their sisters.
Well,
Y'all
it's a
laughing at
small
me.
group of people. It's a
Right.
small tribe, and that's why they have that ostrich foot tribe. I mean, they didn't have enough people to mix in with. You got to pick up some random women along the way, guys. You can't just keep humping on your sister. That's not cool.
Yeah.
They have ostrich feet at this point.
The creator didn't intend it that way. But last time I was in West Africa, um, I couldn't really tell a differentiation. Like they they had their own phenotype, but they knew who we were right away. So all this they think all this West Africans thinking they look like us and vice versa. That's bullshit. Because when I was in Ghana and Togo last time we went, immediately the dudes came to every FBA woman in our group and start trying to spit game. Like they knew they were just they are in love with you sisters. So don't nobody wants to hear that bullshit about how they don't like black women. They fucking love you. Like we almost had to fight them off. Our sisters, we had one of the professors brought a little girl with. This girl was 14 and dudes was just all over her. We were like, man, she's a child, leave her the fuck alone. What's wrong with you? But so they know the difference. They were asking me the question I kept getting, which was very fascinating. Ronnie, I don't know if I've ever said this, but the question I get every time I go to West Africa is, "Are you from Mali?" They think I'm from Mali. Why is that fascinating? You know who ran to Mali? When the Egyptians, the Kemetic priest, ran to well, I'm not gonna say ran. They escaped to Mali, to the mountains of what's now Mali, and kind of set up shop in those mountains. So I wonder when they ask me, "Are you from Mali? Are you a Mali person?" I'm wondering, is that Egyptian? Do they see Egyptian lineage when they look at me? You know, it's a
I don't know what they're basing that on, but maybe they think maybe a group of people in Mali, but not the typical person in
really.
Mali. I don't think so at all.
I
No.
don't know much about Mali. That's why I was.
They may not get a lot of Americans because that's usually the first go to. So maybe something's happening. Maybe they're getting visitors from Mali a lot that's making them say that.
Hmm.
And maybe you look like a particular group that's visiting.
Yeah, maybe I didn't. I was hoping you would know. I don't know why they say that, but more than one person said it. And tour guides at museums, and they say, "Are you a Mali person?" And I was like, "That's so weird. Why y'all keep saying that?" But I got to do some research to find out what that's about. But the point is, my point of bringing that up is we do not look like West Africans, and that's not. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. We just phenotypically don't look like them. We're not the same height. We don't have the same bone structure. We don't have the same mouth. West Africans phenotypically have a mouth shape, you know, and a tongue, like their mouth and tongues look, very distinctive. No disrespect, I'm not being pejorative. I'm just saying, just like we it's like Wani said, it's very hard to put a phenotype on a black American because if it's one thing about a black American, it's amalgamation. Which in essence makes it unacceptable in a way for our brothers to want to date women outside the race because in the black American phenotype, brothers, you can have whatever you want. There are sisters walking around here with blonde hair and blue eyes that's 100% FBA. Vanessa Williams was 100% FBA, had blue eyes and blonde hair. You can have whatever you want within our spectrum. We run the gamut.
Yeah, I have a niece that has blue eyes, very light skinned, and her mother is black and her father is charcoal black. They even got a DNA test because he's so dark. He was wondering why his baby came out so light with blue eyes, and so nobody has blue eyes, but she turned out with very light skin and blue eyes. Turns out, um, somebody was our word several generations back by a white person.
Mm. Those genes skip around.
Yeah, you never know when it's going to pop out.
Dr. Francis Cress Welton said that's what y'all just talked about is the reason behind the Nazis' aggression, total aggression towards the Jews, because Dr. Welton said the Jews were Semitic, which meant they had African lineage somewhere down the line, and even though they had blonde hair and blue eyes, um, the German geneticists knew that that gene could pop around and express himself, and they could have a chocolate baby, on down the road. Genetics are very strange. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Jumbotron, I'm going to put Wani Spots and Nikki the Gods Cash App. Show them love. Um, and in addition, I'm going to put um, my uh Cash App for my book. I have copies of my book. You go to purchase my book, you go on $ Our Story Publications, put $25 on the Cash App, and put your full address and full name and full zip, and I'll mail you out a book tomorrow. If you've already purchased it, thank you, and your copy will be coming to you shortly. Um, so I'm putting Nikki the God and Wani Spots in there now, and mine will be in there last. But yeah, appreciate you if you made a purchase. So in conclusion, it's easy to see that we do not look phenotypically like West Africans. In my opinion, I think this is part of a great finesse. Now, we've identified in a scholarly fashion the need to finesse money, the need to finesse scholarships. I think we've covered all that. What's kind of come up tonight, which I think is very fascinating. I don't know who said it, if it was Wani or Nikki. Um, but what I heard y'all say is what I thought I heard y'all say, and please shoot me down and correct me if I'm wrong, is West African men cosplay FBA men to try to get women. Did I hear that?
Yes. Yeah, they do that all the time to get anything. Women get in clubs, get a cab, get accepted generally. Because people have literally asked groups I've been in, "Are you guys African?" In a negative way. And if you are, they don't want you to get in the cab. Now, when that happened to me years ago with the group I was with, I was offended, wanted to storm off in a huff, all these things. But I had no idea that I was defending people that would not do that for me. I did the same thing in South Africa. When I went there during apartheid, and certain signs said that you couldn't come in. Oh, I'm not going in there. They said, "Oh, you can come in because you're doing a special thing," and I wouldn't go in there. I'm not going in a place that says no black people allowed. But they would do it, as you saw Kofi Annan went into a Jim Crow era barber shop, and he didn't care that we were being excluded and banned. He just wanted his haircut. So I just need to meet their energy, to match their energy, so that I feel like the scales are balanced. I can't be going around doing all this and bending over backwards for them. I'll still keep an eye on those racist signs. It's not like I'm going to go in there if it says no blacks allowed. If they're just speaking about South Africans, I'm still not going to go in, but for another reason. It's not to protect them, it's to protect myself.
Right, right, right. Yeah, we would be surprised at the level of vitriol contained by members of West African culture, particularly Nigeria. I taught with a young man. He was like 25 at the historical black college that I taught at, and he taught in the computer science department. I would help out with computer science because I got certified in computer science with the total force community when I was serving as aerospace education officer. Got my little certificate. Well, we had lunch one day, and he just admitted. He said, "Dr. A, we we straight are in. When he said we, he was talking about Nigerians. He's Nigerian. He said we're in competition with you. We are in slick competition with you, and we view you as like as an op. And later on, a little interesting fact about this guy, nice enough, he got fired because he was lying about. He said he had an MBA. He's never had a degree. So it's just interesting how these historically black colleges would let somebody have a whole professorship lying about their credentials. You think they would ask for a transcript? They asked me for all my official transcripts. So somehow they get to slide into positions of power. Somebody explained that to me. But yeah, we're looking at a lot of vitriol, and they want to look like us to acquire what we have. And what I'm trying to tell my beautiful melanated foundational Black Americans is that shit is dangerous. Let's think of the AIDS virus. Um, According to science, that virus mimics it'll infect a cell and mimic healthy cells to create more cells to destroy your immune system. That's like a virus behavior. You know what I'm saying? Foundational Black Americans do not go around pretending to be something to finesse folk. You know, we're in a state of a state of being in the United States of America where our money is not cutting it. There hadn't been a raise in the minimum wage since the 1970s. We are struggling, people. We do not have resources to give anybody. We need medical doctors ASAP. We need lawyers. We need every little slot we got at historically black colleges. We need them. Every little bit of scholarship money, we need it. So we need to get to a point where we're gatekeeping this shit. Wani or Nikki, how could y'all give me strategies? How can we non-violently gatekeep our shit?
Just basically out them as not being us and downgrade them instead of lifting them up. But I'm confused about something you were saying about them competing. How does this competition work? What is their goal? What are they trying to do to us? I mean, they're competing with us. Uh and so how does that work? They just try to get jobs that we're in and get us kicked out, or don't hire us and hire themselves. How does this competing work?
That's a that's a good question, Wani. And the question Wani just asked me is the reason why I'm on X. I'm not a social media type person, but that's the reason why I got on Twitter to try to understand. This gentleman was very honest with me. You get put a couple drinks in people, and they'll tell you what you need to know. And he said the competition was they were competing basically for our status. They wanted to have a higher status than us. So basically, they'll come to America, according to this gentleman, and get jobs, get careers that were prestigious to compete with the Black Americans. So that is why at this particular college, my FBA students that I mentored um, weren't getting the grades in pre-medicine. Pre-medicine's physics, biology 1 and 2, chemistry 1 and 2 with the lab, biology 1 and 2 with the lab, physics, and I'm leaving one out. It's another science class, calculus or something. Maybe it was just science. I forget. But those five classes are really what decide if you go to medical school. And to go to medical school or dental school, you need straight A's in those fucking five classes. And basically, these professors. They're strategically placed. Now, Wani, I don't know if the West Africans are strategically placing themselves or the system of white supremacy is. I kind of think the system of white supremacy is because anybody here who's ever went to college anywhere knows that a lot of their professors in those hard sciences were either Asian or they were foreigners, right? So what's that about? But they would gatekeep the grades because I had one of my babies was a outstanding young lady. She was a cadet in the military, about to get pinned second lieutenant. She wanted to be a medical doctor with the military. Beautiful plan. And this young lady, she came to me for advice because I was a liaison at the time between Air Force, United States Air Force RTC, I'm not gonna say the detachment number, but the detachment and the college. And she was a cadet, and she was like, Dr. A, I got a fucking, I'm not gonna say her grade, but she got a grade that was below a perfect score in biology, and she was like, "I love this class, and I want to be a medical doctor." The professor knows this, so I went and talked to the professor, who was a Nigerian, and I was telling him, like, man, like, what's going on with this? Like, why did she get this grade? Apparently, she got a grade on a paper. Now, papers can be subjective, right? And this dude looked me dead in my eye and say, "I do not give out. I only give out 5 A's. Everybody, only 5 slots in my class can get an A." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I never heard of that, but okay, whatever." So I started to look at who did get accepted to medical school out of his class, and them last names were not American last names. So was he gatekeeping pre-med? You know?
Yes, this is why we need to delineate and then sue them for ethnic bigotry. It's very simple.
Wow.
Once we identify who they are and why they think they're different, this is another topic that we need to talk about. People that think they're different, and we're not operating under that mindset. All of these African tribes are coming over here. They think they're different, just like somebody may come over here from Afghanistan, right? And they may look like a white man to us. Some of them look Asian, but some of them don't. They may look white, but they know they're not like a random white man in America. So just because they look a certain way, or they're perceived a certain way, they're not thinking that way. They're not thinking inside of their head, hey, I'm a white guy. I think like white men think. I'm thinking these white men's thoughts. It's a whole nother thing. And we have to recognize that. That's why, like I said before, we speak about what the European did to us. Look at what the European did to other people in the region where they were. They slaughtered people. They had wars with people. They treated Irish people like they weren't even human. And that's their mindset. They did not view them as human. And when they said that they had to achieve whiteness, what they really were saying is you have to achieve being human. We don't view you as human. We view you as something lesser than us. Well, what's less? If anything less is an animal. So people go around viewing others as not even human. And then we wonder why we get the results that we get. And Africans don't view us as the same as them, whether they view us as human or not. I don't know, but they certainly do view rival tribes as something to be killed. If they don't, if they have a minor discrepancy, they're ready to kill these people. And that indicates that they have no value for their lives as humans.
Yes. And they'll have um, deadly vitriol for similar sister tribes who phenotypically look just like them. Like Professor James Small said, the history will erase the mystery. If you look to Ghana and you see that people, tribes right next to each other, don't get along and don't even speak the same fucking language, what in your rabbit ass mind think they're gonna come over here and be your brother? We need some. We need to reassess our thought process.
That's the Pan Africanists. They have very much so put us in a bad position by making up fake backstories about Africans. Oh, Africans have all these morals and these strong family bonds, and they do this and that, and they get married. Yeah, they didn't tell us the part where they married children, where they have all kinds of FGM. They didn't tell us the part where they have more orphans than we have Black Americans. And they talk about baby mamas. They don't have baby mamas or baby daddies. They got nothing. They're just wandering in the streets. They don't tell you those parts. And I don't think it's right to keep on pushing a narrative that is just completely easy to be proven false, and paint these people as these innocents coming over here, because our people really bought that for hundreds of years, that these are just, unfortunate people that we need to embrace. And the whole time, they're genocidal maniacs with horrible backgrounds that will date an 8-year-old and have to be told by the international community, don't sell your children to tourists and stop dating 8-year-olds. Raise up your age of consent to 18. it doesn't matter though. They raised it up to 18 in law, but the practice is still to think that an 8-year-old is of age, is of consent. That's what they thought before. They thought 7 years old was the age of consent. Now, that
Wow.
being said, that being said, in Delaware in the 1800s, the age of consent was 7, and a group of women protested that and got it raised to 8 years old. I have no idea what was going on in Delaware, but that's actually a thing that was in the newspaper. They went and protested and got it raised up to 8. And there was some excuse talking about people didn't live that long. Well, it doesn't matter. You're not supposed to hump on an 8-year-old in any event.
Yeah, last time I was on the continent, a story was airing on the news. That's one of my favorite things to do when I go to West Africa is just to sit in the hotel and watch the news. But it was a story going on in the news, basically of an 11-year-old girl whose damn daddy sold her to a 40-some-year-old man for marriage. And he got her pregnant when she was 11 or 12. And the baby, her body was not ready to carry a child. But she carried the baby to term, and giving birth to that child really destroyed her body. And the man who bought her basically kept the baby, kept the little boy, and dropped her back off at her dad's house like, I don't want her because she had health problems. My point of bringing this up is this is in West Africa, in the quote unquote um, civilized or what
Moral, good, strong family values
yeah,
area.
and they selling their goddamn 11-year-old daughter. We have nothing in common with these people.
And they keep talking about getting married. Oh, but we get married. What does that mean? I heard that from East Africans and West Africans that no matter what they do, as long as they're married, it somehow, wipes away any evil deeds they're doing.
Yeah, well, we need to rethink a lot of these cultural customs, and we need to start developing our own cultural customs for the future. We need to, like Dr. John Henry Clark said, if something don't work, we need to throw it in the ash can of history, um, and we need to build from there. Carrie, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, Carrie?
I'm doing okay. How's everyone doing? How are you doing, Professor
Doing
Lonnie?
well.
Oh, that's good.
What's on your mind?
Um, well, I was thinking about um, the family values and they value the education and stuff. And I live in California, so I'm watching and all of these regulations have fallen by the wayside at this point, so it's no longer very surprising. But if people wanted to replace us, if these are the kind of things that you're telling us that you are, why wouldn't you protest the taking away of the standards that we had to adhere to? And I'm sure that our standards were, some were racist when they were put there, or discriminatory, but be that as it may, it's still a standard, a certificate, a passing of a test, oversight, these sort of things. And I'm not watching any of you have any problem with them taking away the certificates for teaching, for all types of stuff, lawyers, dentists, the regular, the standard that you have to meet is so low. Okay. And when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about the hospitals. They're scary. I don't go anywhere near them because we have people on here screaming half breed at us, or, the N word, or, the Akata, all these dehumanizing things that are just screamed at us. Never mind telling us what we are, and determining what type of person, what type of black, who's black. Look, in the hospitals, it's dangerous in there because you're there. And I would love to see, Nigerians are very prevalent in the healthcare industry. Why won't you fix the maternal mortality rate? Why won't you improve anything? And it's like, okay, we've been basically boxed out of a lot of places. And the standards have gone down. And it's not just West Africans or whatever. It's immigrants in totality. But I just wish that all of this rhetoric, oh, the education, oh, schooling, oh, the family values, where is it? You know, and it's just it made me very disillusioned, and it's really depressed me because I walk around and I'm like, all of these people are hiding themselves, their appearance, their color, their things that I wouldn't think are, you can't alter that much. But no, I get on YouTube and I see the way makeup is applied and it's like magic. Who are you people? That's what I would like to know. And if you don't like us, fine. I'm over it. But me, along with everybody else, I bet you even now you could take a survey to see if Black Americans have any sort of racial animus towards anybody, and I bet it still wouldn't show up. You know, you know. So I've realized that I'm just going to be here. I don't need to go traveling outside the country. I think everybody's come here and brought their world here, and I'll decline. And it's just a shame, and the consequences are going to be felt for a long time because we don't look the same. We aren't the same. None of we're very different. And so I just, I don't know. I don't know. That's all I need to say. Thanks. Thanks,
Yeah.
Professor.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Carrie, for enlightening us. And I agree with you. We're very different. That's okay. That's very okay. But what I want y'all to try to get y'all to see is immigration as a vector of attack on us. And it's morphed from the 1700s when Captain Oglethorpe sent white British criminals to fight us by creating Georgia, the state I'm in right now, the Georgia Corporation, to the 1800s when Irish starving immigrants. Let's look at a commonality. The system goes and gets people who are basically desperate, starving Irishmen during that potato famine to handle Black Americans because we were rising up during Reconstruction. You know what I'm saying? Woodrow Wilson saw to that. Okay. Now, what we're looking at is about the fourth wave. After the Woodrow Wilson sent the Irish, the Italians were sent. And the Italians and the Irish did a 1-2 punch. It was a combo on Black Americans because the Irish became police officers, right? What did the Italians become? They became criminals, mafia. So that was a 1-2 punch on us because we were getting hit with the legal system and getting hit in the illegal economy, right? With extortion. And what a lot of people don't say is that the Italians were responsible for the prostitution ring. I lived in Memphis for the last 12 years of my life, and love Memphis. Didn't realize it when I was there, but it's a great place. But um, open prostitution just goes on in Memphis. You drive down Lamar and you see, to this day in 2024, you see pimps with the big hats on walking with a bunch of women behind them with clothes. It's like, wow, this looks like a 70s movie. But I had an insider. Actually, well, I'm not going to say who it was, but let's just say I have an insider in law enforcement. And he told me that money goes back to the mafia. So you're dealing with illegal economies. But my point of bringing this up is the latest vector of attack has been melanated immigrants. They're allowed to come over here and practice fucking medicine. I've seen them come to my college with bogus PhDs. They have paper mills. They don't know anything. I'm big my research, my scholarly research I do for my primary source data. I do videos. I like putting together videos and stuff and making like videos. Well, I've had quote unquote PhDs um hound me down to get my footage. They didn't know how to do anything. They're asking me for advice on how to write a scholarly paper because I was over the journal. I'm like, man, you are in your 50s and you got a PhD. You don't know how to write a journal entry? Like, how are you here? You know, but that's not even the worst part. The worst part of it is the medical industry. I used to be connected with somebody who was working in the medical industry, and this person told me that the medical industry in the United States will let people come over from Nigeria with a medical degree from Nigeria, and all they have to do is take a couple classes and go back through residency, and they can be a full fledged physician. So the system is reaching out and getting nurses and half-assed doctors from that place, and having them treat us as opposed to putting our children through nursing school and medical school. Y'all know how many black kids want to be doctors? I serve Gen Z. I serve young people, and a lot of them want to be doctors, but they don't have the money to go to school. Instead of reaching out to the damn West Africa for a medical doctor, how about build a program to make sure that foundational Black Americans become physicians? Go ahead, Carrie.
Well, one thing about being a doctor is it right now it's like a status symbol. Oh, I'm a doctor. But you know what? It's a gross job. You deal with a lot of bodily fluids, long hours. It's not glamorous. And if you treat it like it's going to be glamorous, I don't know what kind of doctoring you're doing. And that's so it's so apparent. And yes, when we're on a medical ward, when we're on the floor of the hospital, things improve everywhere. Just one of us,
Right.
and it makes me think that people are maybe hesitant to do shady stuff. Maybe if we're looking, I'm not sure what it is. I mean, it could be magic. I don't know, but it's been proven. And I would have to say maybe it has to do with that we don't have a culture of dehumanization of people. We want to make someone better, not get a paycheck and rub it in people's faces like that doctor or whatever she was, calling us the N-word and whatever. I mean, it's like, and then along with the teaching. So we've been moved out of we've been moved out of teaching English as native English speakers. And now there's a huge worldwide problem where people are learning English from people that are not fluent, and it's trickling down to the point where and we can tell it's not. You don't have to be Michael Eric Dyson and throw around words like he overdoes it, but there is a vocabulary issue that happens here, and it does cause problems with communication. So I just, yeah, I'm very alarmed. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Carrie's right. There was a study done. I'm a professor of education and I teach teachers. I make teachers part time now, but there was a study that came out that shows one black male teacher is a force multiplier in inner city schools. So if you have one black male teacher, the amount of fights decrease, the grades go up, and I'm not just putting that on the men. FBAs, we do something. We do something in environments that's it's like Wani was saying, it says je ne sais quoi. It's not, you can't quantify it really, but we add sunshine to environments. My grandmother was real sick a couple months ago in the ICU. Um and I was everybody was there, and you know how it gets when somebody's kind of dying, and family gets all weird, and we were taking turns and shifts, watching her in the hospital, and I had my shift was coming up. I chose a shift in the middle of the night because nobody, everybody else had to work. I was off that week. So I'm in the hospital with grandmama, watching her breathe on the machine. And I walked outside. It's about 3 a.m. And it was a young man, black dude, maybe in his early 30s, late 20s, had scrubs on, pacing back and forth. I said, "You okay, bro?" He's like, "Yes, sir." I was like, "You a doctor?" He's like, "No." He's like, "No, I'm a nurse." He was a RN, And I said, "Man, you all right?" He said, "Yeah, man. I got a patient up here that went into cardiac arrest, and I've been doing research on how to help her, and I'm thinking of strategies that I'm gonna tell the attending physician so we can keep her alive." He, instead of smoking a cigarette or playing on his phone, he walking back and forth thinking about how to save somebody's life. That's the type of dedication we got. That's who we are. Go ahead, Carrie.
And I know everybody didn't come here to help us. And I know that people say I came here to, get an education or help my family or whatever. What ooh, I almost lost my train of thought. Sorry, my cat just jumped on me. When in these schools, there are also a lot of Latinas that have been moved into the education field.
Yes.
Uh, yep. And so we're dealing with race education. I heard that those two words put together on the news. CRT. We were all freaking out. Not we were all freaking
What's
out, but it
that?
was a big comment. It was a big issue, the CRT during the 1619 project and stuff like
Okay.
that, and the intersectionality during that time. And it kind of died away. Us being focused on it, a lot of other things were happening. But it is huge, and they're teaching colorism. That's what I think. I had asked another person about Pollyanna. It's called Pollyanna curriculum, and it's very suspect and it's very weird. But I find that nobody wants to say anything, but it's prevalent. It's huge in the schools, huge in all these private schools, all these these high tuition schools, for people that, can afford that sort of thing. But that stuff trickles down. And all it is teaching them the sort of color hierarchy that is going on in the global south. And okay, along with all and the activist education goes right along with that. And you know what goes out the window is the reading. It's the language. So I'm just it really, really makes me upset when we're talking about uh, literacy and the people talking about it are in the education field and they're not teaching literacy. And then when we say literacy, they mean something else. They mean race literacy. They mean, so I
What
understand
is
that
this Pollyanna thing? What is this Pollyanna thing you mentioned before you go?
So, Pollyanna, I was reading up on CRT. I was focused on the revisionist history that we have going on. And I was trying to figure out what the hell's going on because here in California, they had taken off the certificate or the test for being a teacher, getting out of pre service. I guess, you have to take some sort of, I forget what the name of the test is, but they said that was no longer a thing. So I'm
Wow.
looking at all this stuff. Yes. And I'm like, Pollyanna, that's weird. I'm thinking of the book or the movie or the show. No. I go to this website and it is some weird curriculum. You should look it up. Pollyanna.inc. It was just they were talking about how kids need to be aware of their race and then to know that bad things are going to happen if you're this race and good things are going to happen to you if you're that race. And then I'm thinking, okay, so the kids are now going to not question when bad things happen and good things happen and who that's happening to. And I'm like, these kids are in class together. I was very alarmed. So I went reading through it, and lo and behold, there's lots of interviews with newspapers, parents freaking out. They're like, "This is terrible. This is not educating my child. My child's coming back home crying about her race, and it's just really bad." And it's called Pollyanna curriculum. And
Is that to
Pollyanna to me,
normalize? Is that to
huh?
normalize racism? Or are they
Yes,
trying to? Okay.
yes, yes, yes. That's what I think. I think because the people that are coming in here now are treating us the way that they treat people in their home countries, right? So when they come here, they say, "I want a job." They didn't say they want their kids socialized as Americans or to, So I'm thinking, oh, they have to be teaching their kids the same thing here, so that their kids carry on that sort of culture,
Yeah,
and that's what I think's happening.
these people are so brain damaged with colonial behaviors
Facts.
Mhm.
and with the caste system in India. They can't process what we were trying to do here in America. They can't process that. So I don't know what they're going to do because, like I said, they're coming over here with bachabazi culture and thinking it's okay to dress up little boys as girls and have sex with them. They're coming here and they look like, some of them look like a random white guy, but you can tell they have a different way about them, a different body language than a typical white person. A lot of them are coming here with wildly different cultures, and it's not being addressed. And to have colorism, all of these Hispanic people have it, as well as the Caribbeans. They have all of this antiquated thought, and they can't recover from it. I mean, it's just like it's in there for life, and they don't even see a reason to do it. They just go along with it. One of the issues is that you can't fight a power system of white people if you want to be white.
Facts.
This is the only thing that sets us apart. We didn't have a culture of marrying white people so you could get rid of your background. We embraced our background, but the other people did not go through that process. They embraced marrying white, making the race better according to their own words.
Right.
Making the race better was what they were instructing their children to do, marry themselves out of existence. And so they're not fighting anybody white because they want to be white.
Wow. This really strikes a chord, and really hits a note. Let's look back to a couple years ago at a historically black college called Winston-Salem University. Um, Winston-Salem State, black school. Well, before I say this, I said in the beginning, we need to fucking gatekeep our shit. Historically black colleges belong to us. Why do we have others there teaching at historically black college? When I was in high school, my little sister had a good friend who was from her family was from one of them countries, Iraq or Iran, but they weren't even like white looking Arabs. They were dark and they looked hyper ethnic, almost a little kind of maybe a little Africoid, just a little bit, but just a little bit. And anyway, my sister came home hurt one day, and we were like, "What's wrong?" She was like, "So and so, so and so's daddy told me to stop hanging out with me because I'm black. Stop hanging out." And it pissed me off because I was like, "Man, he looked black. What the fuck you mean stop hanging out with you because you black?" So he told his daughter stop hanging out with my little sister because she's black and we have nothing in common with them, right? I found out that this son of a bitch teaches at Miles College, the black historically black college in Birmingham. He's up there teaching.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a professor at goddamn Miles College. How did he get that job? What is wrong with us that we're hiring these vitriolic people? Let's look back at Winston-Salem State University. There was a little girl at an undergrad, a young lady at Winston-Salem who was having a bad day in class, and she said something like "I hate you" or something. Like the professor, who was a Hispanic, let me give you her damn name. The professor's name was Doctor Cynthia Villa Gomez, right? Up there at our school. And the baby had a bad day and just basically said, "I hate you," to Dr. Villa Gomez. And Villa Gomez said, "Apologize for that. Apologize." And the student was like, "Shit, bitch, I'm not apologizing." And she grown, right? This Villa Gomez called the police on that girl and had her arrested. out her classroom, and the goddamn president of Winston-Salem State stood behind her. That's what I saw when I was working at a historically black college. I saw administrators scared to death of white folk, and foreign ass teachers failing the shit out of our children, um, or making sure our children didn't have the grades to go to medical school. And in a lot of cases like this, we are the fucking problem. What gets into us in these high positions to defend the enemy? Somebody please explain that to me.
Low self esteem. Go ahead, Carrie.
Yeah, my other interest is this Pan Africanism because they are hostile. They don't like us at all, and I think that if we ever make any sort of headway with anybody, like if somebody starts opening their mind a little bit, or just thinking about it, that I feel like they get them and they reprogram them. You know, like if like the first person these people will may talk to after having a conversation with us in a room, or maybe some case gets to them or something, but the people that are around them are like Pan-Africans. And I just find it, okay, so with the Pan-Africanism is the feminism, and that's anti-black. And it just feels like they are ashamed of us, like we're embarrassing. Um, I get a sort of like they just want, like they are discriminating against us, like because there's a disparity between people who identify as black and people who identify as African American. Who is doing that sort of granular discrimination but us? So I just look at them as very scary people that are motivated in some sort of strange way to elevate and prioritize people that have absolute disdain for us. I just don't understand what they get out of it. Um, yeah, and then okay, so I'm like, okay, so the Pan Africans are also extremely sexist. I find that the language that they use is extremely abrasive, and I'm like, it's all these bad things that we're being accused of. I don't see that in my people when we're talking in the rooms, when we're interacting with people. I don't hear black men being grossly sexist or dehumanizing like that at all. So I'm like, it must be them. Where do they learn that? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the women come over here pre-programmed to hate men. So the feminist movement is great for them because they hate their men. Feminists hate men, and it's a group just to hate men. And then some black American man, I just saw that today, black American man in Mississippi doesn't know what he's looking at. He's looking at a vitriolic African talking about hating black men. This is the problem. He sees a black woman hating black men, and he has attributed her behavior to all of black American women. That's why we have to remove these people from our present and from our identity because we're not saying these things. Same thing that women's rights advocates have to do. They have to remove all those feminists and LGBTQ people away from what they're talking about because those people don't want reconciliation with men. They hate men and they're being misrepresented. Africans babbling about their bad times with their men, that's what you get. You don't have any rights because you've never fought for rights. You don't deserve to have women's rights. You don't deserve to vote. You don't deserve to do anything. You don't deserve to have your children not molested. You didn't fight for those things. Why do you think you can come over here and put the template that American women fought for on top of your crazy backgrounds? It doesn't work. How could you put that template on there when you came from somewhere where your daddy sold you at 8 years old to a 50-year-old man? How does that even fit on there? It doesn't. American ideas are not a good fit for a lot of people coming here. It's just not.
Facts. Go ahead, Carrie.
Like one tactic that white supremacy employs is to give you something before you're ready. So clearly, they have given these countries, not saying that they should stay under colonialism, but they gave them their independence before they were ready. And so the people that come over here are being given all types of stuff before they're ready. They don't value the our civil rights. They don't care. The first thing they talk about is taking away someone's freedom of speech, or it's cool somebody got stabbed in the face because they shoplifted some soap or something. Although they will say, oh, well, they want to give a lot of privileges to the criminal, but they don't ever employ, those sort of things outwardly that I can tell. It's all really savage. They're not ready. They just don't have they don't see the value in that. Because I think also, I know the men are very savage, but I see the women are savage too. They're very savage. Like the things that are not us. Like they're trying to make black and American them what they're doing. We're the out of fashion sort of culture, but it's really not true. It's not that's but they're not like us. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I agree with that, Carrie. Dr. Your Highness, you want to come up?
Peace, y'all. Peace, Wani. Peace, Nikki the God. Peace, Professor.
Hey, I'm talking through a mute. What's going on? Can you hear me, Dr. Your Highness?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Go
me and my
ahead.
son, we've been going through your book and it's amazing. To just see my son, read history from like our perspective.
Yep.
It's just empowering. It makes my son view the world objectively now. He's asking more questions. He's,
Wow.
really getting into history for real and not just the civil rights movement. Because I noticed in the school, that's really all they teach them about. It's almost like black people just appeared like from some like other realm and just appeared out of nowhere and was like walking in the civil rights movement, and that's all they know. So
Yeah.
thankful for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, Doctor, Your Highness, I just want to quickly add. You're welcome. Thank you so much for telling me that. Dr. John Henry Clark, I see his picture on your thing. Dr. John Henry Clark said that that's why the Portuguese referred to us as Negro, because Negro is not attached to a land,
Mm.
and it just Negro implies that you just fell out the sky lost. You're just, they're not even important, you know what I'm saying? And but it's hiding the fact, all of these little tactics are hiding the fact that not only are we important, we are damn near the most important group of people on planet Earth right now. And I don't say that out of arrogance, I say that out of necessity, because the system of white supremacy is destroying the whole planet, like our brother Neely Fuller used to say. And if it's anybody to stand up and restore balance to this planet, is us. The ball is in our court. I was going to also say, if you want on the essay section, DM me, and well, I'll DM you my email address. And when your son writes the essay, if you want to email it to me, I'll grade it for him.
Most definitely. Yes, that
Yeah.
would be most that would be I appreciate that. I also wanted to say, you know, as far as like buffering and opportunity, I'm like trying to find a silver lining, and cuz I'm in school, and my professor, one of my professors, I've had good, like, I do good work. Like my work is good. And it's this professor, or even just being in university and just being around different professors, I noticed this thing of our black boomers, and I'm
Yep.
just trying to be strategic, and I'm trying to find a middle ground, or like, is there a middle ground? Like, do I have to just play the game, because and it's so, it's scary because a lot of these professors, like especially the boomers, they're very pan-African.
Yep.
And they was doing they they was a part of the Black Panther movement, and the they know that they're close to the civil rights movement. So it's like, then you can't even really, it's just hard because, like, even right now, one of my professors, she's a Pan African. She doesn't openly say it, but she's also about to go to Ghana, and she is just grading me so harsh. And her harsh grades are behind what I'm talking about as far as immigration and how it harms Black Americans. And she's like undermining my GPA and like making it hard for me, like just being unjustly too hard for me on me. And I'm just trying to find a silver lining. Like, I don't know, maybe I
How,
might not
how to
have
put
to.
you talking about how can you win in this situation?
Yes,
I got
because
you covered. I got you. Go ahead and finish, but I got you.
it's almost like she trying to make me, like, she trying to tank my GPA because like all of my other assignments are good. She refused to grade. She first of all, she tanked my two assignments that were based around immigration and how it has harmed Black Americans, specifically, like, in Chicago. I'm speaking about it now. And she has this, her perspective is very multicultural. She's even said that we was like going over this song, we was going over Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Uh-huh.
And she said that that's multicultural and it wasn't just for Black Americans. And I mean, I'm at the point that, like, she be saying stuff, and like like it was times where I'll like interject, but it's like I'm noticing when I do that, she find reasons to like tank my GPA. So it's like now, it's like you wanna, and then she's like, yeah, this is democracy. She's a Democrat, and she done said some
Oh
things.
Lord.
And she like, we want you to use your voice because that's what it's about. It's about using your voice. But when I use my voice, I feel like not only is she offended, and then it's other, you know, nationalities in the class too. I'm not saying anything in a bad way though, but they do need to know that it's affecting us, and I don't think that that's wrong. And I want to try to, like, she's sneakily doing it because I know she's not gonna come out and say it,
Right.
but I do want to confront her, and to try to make it seem like I'm not doing the work good enough, and I don't, you know, and this class is poetry, and I'm like a dope ass poet, like just in the natural world, and so for her to even play me like that, I'm just like, I just feel so like, oh my gosh, like sometimes in education, it's like this programming that they want you to be under, and it undermine you. It's almost like in order for me to excel, I have to undermine myself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
have
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's the game.
to.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm being multicultural at the end of all of this, and maybe she'll leave me alone because she is just. And I'm.
What about all of the headlines over the years for decades that said immigration harms Black
No,
Americans?
she don't. She is
How
a
does she ignore that?
she's a staunch Democrat. It's multiculturalism. We're all marginalized. We're all people of color, and we should all, that's how she look at it. And
Just
and it's,
play the game until you get out of there.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You play the game like Wani said. I had to do it when I was writing my dissertation. You go before a committee, and I wanted to talk about the I Am a Man movement with Dr. King. I presented it to my dissertation community, all of them white and one black female. And one of them got offended. She was like, she said, quote, Why don't you talk about Elvis? He liked black people. That's what she said. And mysteriously, my grades started dropping in all my classes. I almost ended up on academic probation. So I had to start, I couldn't fight. I couldn't push myself to be a raccoon. I couldn't do it. But what I had to do to just get that degree was start talking about um, subjects that were neutral. I talked about dogs, you know. But your only other option, if you have to duke it out and fight it out, is to get that syllabus and look at that syllabus. Um, Look at the syllabus is a contract between you and your professor, and on the syllabus, if it says this, and this needs to be done to get this grade, and she just giving you a grade, you can challenge it and go to the academic dean and write her ass up. I've done that before too.
Man, it's so heavy. Like I had another professor who was a woman too. She was a black woman, but she was foreign. And I forgot the name of the class, but she set us and had us made us watch this documentary. And it was about these African men, I think in Zimbabwe or something. Not no, they were the Congo, and they were cross dressers, and they were like these big strong African men. They were wearing lipstick, and she cut the thing, we watched the thing, and I don't know, maybe it was my facial expressions because I really didn't say nothing, but I did say something. I was just like, just the imagery,
That's a
just
lot to handle.
she was talking about how empowering it was, and
What?
yes, and how motivating it was, and I was just kind of just
This has
like,
got to be the worst situation for you to have to just take and swallow all this trash. It's
and
outrageous.
she like I had brought up the fact, like the contrast, the stark contrast between like these strong black men, and it's interesting that she would say that it's empowering. They were wearing red heels, and I can't even find the documentary. Long story short, this woman tanked my GPA. I'm talking about, and she made me write this paper like 4 times, and she still never. I wish I can go back and fight for that though, because I was young and I didn't know. But oh my goodness, I wish. But I just know that she tanked it because of you know, they can be biased, and it's so unfair that they can be biased. Like what is really determining, how smart a person is, or their gift, if they're buffering people based off of a social ideology. Like if my social I could be a horrible, I could be a horrible doctor, but if my social ideology is matching whatever social ideology that they want, then they'll be buffered over somebody who might not think the same, but they're even better, or they're just it's crazy. But
Yep,
more.
that's reality, and that's how you control societies. That's how you gatekeep who your teachers are, who your professors are, who your doctors are, who your attorneys are. It's a gatekeeping process. And you said democratic. A lot of these, there's a book that when you get a chance you should buy by Chris Hedges called "Death of the Liberal Class," and that book talks about the professor you're dealing with. A lot of these professors, that's the hardest job on the planet to get, is a college professor. Um, and a lot of them have agendas, um, to and gatekeep their profession and keep people in the profession some type of way. So it's a very dangerous job because you control future leadership, and unfortunately, you're running into politics that you didn't anticipate. But the best thing to do is to try to play the game, particularly if you're at a PWI, primarily white institution, because you're outnumbered. And if they come up against you, if it's between you and a white professor, you're probably going to lose. So just play the game. Try to go as far as you can go without losing your dignity, because in the end of the day, all you have is your dignity. Um,
I'm definitely going, thank you for that, professor, and I'm definitely going to be more neutral in with whatever subjects that I delve into from now on. And then, anything that I'm passionate about, I just do that in my own time. But like
right.
world, stay neutral, and that's just what it is.
Right. That's unfortunate that you have to do that, though. Yeah. We're gonna get a couple more speakers, and we're gonna call it a night. Meet you, God. What's on your mind?
Peace to the space. What's going on with you, Professor?
Yes, sir. Doing well, brother. Good to see you.
Good, good. Um, I was listening in, man, and it got me thinking about some of my experiences and during my undergrad, doing prereqs and some of it, like especially with the I was taking 400 level U.S. constitutional history, and so we was really getting really in depth in the Constitution. And I pretty much, wrote a paper that was, you know, re- purporting for reparations. I was speaking even about some of the deeper levels with we're talking about, like the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, which was the treaty between the Morocco and America when Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson went over there and got that treaty set up, and that's the first treaty to actually recognize United States as an actual nation, a sovereign nation. It's the longest and oldest treaty that we have still, with the Moroccans, and so and they pretty much were saying treat the black people that's already in America, that my people that's already over the Moroccans, America, Al Morocco, treat them like you would treat one of the white people. And so that's where the kind of the Moors and the freedmen that existed while slavery was going on. That's the basis of it, and that's the treaty that set up and built the ships that won the actual Revolutionary War. And so I'm talking about all that stuff and talking about how Black Americans built, and I'm basically saying America ain't shit without Black America. And pretty much, I got into the Three-Fifths Amendment with the Three-Fifths Amendment with in the Constitution, and how they, for taxation purposes, and how they collect the tax money off us, and I just really went real deep. And the professor, he like stopped me and told me, you can't write this paper, you should write this. And he like, I had like a little sit down with him during winter break, and he was like, yeah, you gotta come back and rewrite it this way. And he had gave me some information about Black people doing the migration from the South to LA and how they helped form LA. And so all I did was just added the information that he gave me to what I already had, and just continued on with what my original thesis was. And so he was pissed, but this motherfucker gave me a B. And when it's a white dude too, and this is at a now it's, I guess it's a primarily Hispanic institution, but here in Las Vegas, but or it's actually in Henderson. But he gave me a B. But one of the white people in the class, they said something. She was like, I think he was just gung ho on just giving me an A. Like, she was like, I could write anything. He was just gonna give me an A. And actually, one of the white dudes in the class actually wrote that the Three-Fifths Amendment had nothing to do with race, it had nothing to do with color, and nothing to do with Black people. And he thought he was kind of writing in opposition to what my paper was, because he kind of hurt my thesis when we had to kind of present it, because it was pretty much the thesis was the whole class. So when he wrote his paper, his actual premise, his actual thesis was actually wrong. The Three-Fifths Amendment did mention Black people, and it didn't mention us as slaves per se, but it mentioned us as far as the taxation for each person that they were meaning the Three-Fifths representation for. And so at the end of it, he got an A. The professor goes, yeah, well, no, it does. It actually did mean Black people, and you know what I'm saying. And so I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. But I get a B minus. And so he was just he just knew what I was gonna get, you know what I'm saying? And so that's pretty much how it was. And I realized that listening to what y'all saying, it's like we really do need. I was in one of these spaces earlier with they was talking about Arthur Watkins talking about the Freedmen Nation, and we really need something like that where we have our own education and means of gatekeeping scholarships and what have you, and having financial and economic backing to actually help support us being able to retain some of those scholarships that's truly meant for FBA people and truly meant for our children and stuff, and not for all these immigrants and Chinese people and everybody to be coming into these universities and getting scholarships that should be going to the descendants of slaves. But I'm gonna let you land. I'm gonna land real quick, man. Because I ain't gonna take you too long. I know it's late out there. I'm out in Vegas, so it ain't too late. But I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. But I just wanted to get that off my chest, and y'all, peace to the space.
Yeah, I love it. The reasons that we just learned is why we need our own school system. And we need to take back the historically black colleges. There shouldn't be a president of a historical black college that's not a foundational black American, because that's who they were intended for. A lot of our historical black colleges have been just straight up infiltrated and taken over. We shouldn't have to be. College is a place. It should be a safe space. You're paying tuition for you to learn and grow. And what I'm hearing from y'all is something that I already knew. I knew that you need to play some type of political game in college to get what you came there to get. And it's disheartening and it's unfortunate, but it's very true. The secret to this game is we need our own institutions that serve our interests, where our children can go and our young people can go learn and grow and look for solutions for our community. Oftentimes the college world and the graduate school, professional school world are looking for solutions for rich white people's problems. We need to start solving our own problems. I'm gonna go ahead and give last words to Love I Am. Um, well, I see Wellsing. We'll give it to Wellsing, but go ahead, Love I Am.
Hey,
Hey,
um, hey, this was a good space. Um, so I was gonna say, I was gonna speak to the topic, if you don't mind, about do Africans, why do, so they say that, and I don't really think they think that. I think they're lying, and I think they're trying to just uh latch on to us because I am a very monoracial black American. You know, nobody's ever gonna think I'm mixed with anything. But like even growing up, I just feel like even as a brown skinned black American person, we don't look, it's like nobody's thinking we're African. And it's because there's more that goes into someone's look. So I think what they're doing is we know that the original humans were dark, like they had melanin, and I think that they're taking advantage of that is what's really going on here, because other than that, there I just there's other considerations when you're looking at somebody. You're not just looking at brown. Like you're looking at people's eyes, you're looking at their demeanor, you're looking, that's how you're determining what people look like. And I just feel like they stand out. The Africans, they stand out, you're gonna know. So I just think that's weird, all of them, even if they're Nigerian. I don't even care. Like you can always spot them. I pulled up to my friends. I used to pick my friend's son up from his middle school, and I told this story before, but when I pulled up, I had noticed that all the kids were broken off into like little groups or whatever, and I had asked him if he could, I asked him to, like, how were they separated, and he explicitly stated to me he didn't even know I be in spaces like this. This is like 2 years ago, or like the year, like, oh yeah, it was 2 years ago. But he told me explicitly that the Black Americans and the African students, they don't even be around each other, and he literally said he wouldn't even ask an African for a pencil. And he said, and they probably wouldn't let me use their pencil anyways because we don't get along. And I can look and see the ashy African kids over the, I already seen that they were separated that way. You had they have a Nepali community, you have the Latinos, the Black American kids were off to themselves, and the African, I already visibly saw that. So I just asked him, and it was before I was even in these type spaces. So I just thought that was very funny. And then let me hurry up too, because I know you're trying to end your space, but I was gonna say
you're
about
good, Love I Am. You good? Take your time.
yeah, we don't have the proper defenses for what we're dealing with at a collegiate level. These people, different nations, they know who we are. They do not like us, and it's a certain amount of it's a particular consciousness and thought process that they would like to shun and totally eradicate from our thinking, because they're trying to grab us Black Americans when we are 18 uh 18 and 19, because they know that we have a lot of influence and they want to get in front of that so that they can indoctrinate us into a thought process by the time we graduate. And so when you're someone who is, it's very clear that you can't be moved like that, they are going to start messing with your grades. And I have a entire story for that, for another day. But it's just so crazy how it's literally, it's spiritual. You have to cover yourself spiritually. It's spiritual warfare, and we are a targeted group of people. We the black sheep of America. Like, I want to say, obviously figuratively, but our people are also very sheepish sometimes in the way that we can follow easily, but ultimately, yeah, they try to. There's a lot of sabotage going on at a
Thank
collegiate
you.
level,
So true.
and it's not talked about enough. And I can see that if we don't have, like you stated in the very beginning of the space, millennials and Gen X standing in the gap, I can see that it's just there's no protections set up for it. We really should not even, if this nation, we I don't expect this nation to care about us, but they failed us miserably. This was all by design because we really should have been a protected class a long time ago. This is stuff that we shouldn't even be dealing with. And we know that they understand that conceptually because the Jews are kept as a protected class. There's other groups that are protected in that regard. So they do understand that. That's just another way for them to deal shrewdly with us. And we needed those protections a long time ago in colleges. I'm done.
Okay, love it, love I am. And it's so true. I love I am pointed out something very, very dangerous and very true. And let me be careful how I say this because I know I got hungry ears, probably some of my colleagues listening in. Um, if you want to promote an agenda, right, or a lifestyle, y'all see where I'm going with this? One of the best ways to do it is to let college students see that if I act this way or I don't act this way, I have a higher likelihood of getting higher grades. What I'm trying to say is a lot of lifestyle agenda on the agenda. Y'all know what I'm talking about, black people? A lot of these lifestyles are paraded around as a way to excel academically and thereby excel financially. So you have a whole lot of dangling of carrots at these universities and these colleges that are promoting um, agendas that are anti-life. You understand me? And I'm gonna boil it down one other way for those you didn't get it. Well, if I act this way, I'm probably gonna get an A in this class. Or if I act this way or get known to be in this type of lifestyle, I might get where I need to go. And I've seen so many people on a collegiate level um, get their views turned inside out just because they wanted to be the first, college graduate in the family, or they wanted that internship. It's unacceptable, but it's reality. Wellsing, what's on your mind? Hey, Wellsing, can you hear me? Uh-oh, is my space gone out? Can you hear me, Wani?
Yes.
Okay. Wellsing, can you hear me? Maybe her space went out. Hey, Wellsing, going once, going twice. Hang, I really want to hear what she had to say, but ladies and gentlemen, I enjoyed y'all today. Tariq is on. We'll have another space tomorrow. Do West Africans think they look like FBAs? Yeah, they think that. They think that they can easily cosplay us, but we see them coming a mile away, and that's no disrespect to them. They need to be proud of their culture and stop infiltrating our stuff. The real message in this, ladies and gentlemen, is we need to gatekeep our stuff. We need to start. A good place to start is, let's start at these historically black colleges. Let's start gatekeeping our professional schools. We need to be gatekeeping the motherfuck out of medical schools. Our medical schools should only be graduating, at least 80% of the graduates should be foundational black American. I looked at Howard one year, and Howard looked like damn near half the graduating class was non African Americans. That's black Americans. That's unacceptable, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a dire position right now where our wealth is down real low. Our professional, we need more black teachers, more black lawyers. But if we stick together, we can achieve these goals. I love y'all, and I'm gonna see y'all on Tariq Space. Nikki, you had any last words?
Peace. Have a good night.
All right. See y'all later. Peace out.